Calling to order the meeting of the library trustees of the Simon Fairfield Public Library. It's 5:07 p.m., July 23rd. We do have a quorum. Ellie sent out the minutes from June 25th. I'll accept a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any changes or additions? Questions about the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes from June 25th? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, minutes are accepted. Moving on to financial report. Justin,
Not
over
much
to you.
happened in FY24 in FY25 so far yet. I casually mentioned to Jean today, you know, if when she was going to be ready to reconcile, and she kind of laughed at me. There's been a lot of end of fiscal year chaos with the RWE energy credit bills coming in late, and so it'll take a little bit longer than usual. But by next meeting, we should have like the final interest and everything reconciled and finalized. So what I included is just a year-end summary of all the FY24 municipal budget expenses here in the format that Ellie uses for minutes, so that hopefully moving forward, Ellie won't have to, you know, do a lot of copying and pasting and transcribing. She can just use this, and the work will only have to be done once.
Thank you.
We were expecting to have a big turn back in compensations just because of the way that compensations work these days with Nat, you know, doing the numbers and sending them out to the department heads. What we ended up with the surprise of was a big turn back in electricity because the solar farm apparently went down in late June, so they were not able to bill us the way they normally are. So the last electric bill that I was expecting to come in at around between $700 and $750 was actually only $74. So all put together, we spent 94% of our municipal budget and turned back to the town $18,742.76.
I have a question if nobody else does.
Oh, go ahead, Ellie.
I was trying to figure out the whole electric stuff, and I just can't. I can't, and I'm sure everything is being done perfectly with the town and stuff like that, but I just don't understand the payback that they're giving us. And so we paid 85% of the electric bill or the electric budget as opposed to 100%. So how do you figure out what your electric budget is going to be when you figure it out in January or February, whenever you are putting together your budget?
To be honest, it's really hard. It's kind of a guessing game, because what happens is the town has there's a bunch of solar farms in town, and I don't know if it's all of them or if it's just one of them, but RWE basically supplies a certain amount of the electricity that they generate to the town of Douglas, and that goes against or in favor of our national grid bills. So starting in January, Jean tells me to stop paying national grid bills and wait and see how the electric generation credits are going to hit them, because then what she does is she goes by departmental usage and then allocates the credits out among the departments, depending on how much electricity we use. And then we pay RWE a lower rate than we would have paid National Grid. But then at the end, we still end up with a National Grid bill because we can't end the electricity. We can't end with a credit balance at the end of the fiscal year. The auditors don't like that. And that's about as much of it as I understand.
So there's no real way that, I mean, you can't take like the average of the previous 2 years or something like that, and use that as your electric base.
I mean, that's what I've done heretofore. But then that will go down depending on, the number of sunny days we get, because it's all dependent on what the solar panels generate as to what we end up paying in the end.
I can't hear whatever that was.
RWE.
We can't budget for how many sunny days there's going to be. So I've been budgeting for the full amount of like our electricity usage, and then just kind of not factoring the electricity credits in, because I mean you don't know if you're going to end up with a cloudy spring or a sunny spring in summer. So it just ends up being kind of it's a crapshoot. It's a total crapshoot. But it saves us money.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I understand that part. It does save you money, but saves the town money. But I just, the whole concept of presenting a budget, I've never heard of, and I know this is all a new thing for the town and stuff like that over the last several years when these solar credits have come in. But to have what you're supposed to budget and then have a credit come in, and and I don't know if it was voted at town meeting or if that's the whole agreement that the state says that this has to happen, but it just gets a little bit too complicated for some stupid person like me. Why you budget anything, if you're going to get a credit back, and I just it's just something that's bothering me, and I just I someday I'll figure it out. I'll probably raise the same thing next year.
Well, someday maybe
So
we'll figure it out too.
you've done a good job,
I mean, we
Justin.
were supposed to have accounts reconciled and finalized by July 15th, according to the end of the year fiscal thing, and the RWE bit is what's tying everything up. Yeah, when were we supposed to be done with FY24? July 27th or 17th, July 17th. That is passed, and we are not done.
Well, we still don't have a state budget for next year either, so
And
Just
that was due
anecdotally,
July 1st.
yeah.
I was just gonna just an anecdotal, having some experience with solar panels. You can't equate any kind of time frame on it either, because they don't usually provide credits for 6 to 9 months after later than it actually happens. So, and it really is impossible to try to analyze it ahead of time in the budget. That's neither here nor there. It's just average it like you're doing.
That's true of most utilities anyway. All right, are we good on that?
I just want to step. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Because I was muted and now I don't have a picture, but that's fine. You don't need to see what I look like. I'm here. Go ahead, Kate. You continue.
Okie dokie.
So on the trustee accounts.
Yes.
Okay, so I just did this out in straight text this time instead of screenshotting pictures from our finance software. So the original building donation account grew by $171.46 this year. The building donations with interest account grew by $74,144.73, and we earned $1,783.21 in interest. But that interest number will go up when we reconcile, because that's not accounting for May or June. The trust fund started at 1,697 and earned 2471 in interest. Library grants, there's a little bit more to talk about. We had an opening balance of $59,702.99, and we got $22,687 in state aid disbursements. We also spent quite a bit out of this account this past year on circulating material. Some other things crept in. The overdrive CPCs was the $600 a month budget for audiobooks. We paid Joe to trim the hedges. We did the building program with Mary Brainy, and we did some repairs and maintenance. So that account went down to $51,568.61. Regular donations grew. We got almost $3,000 in donations, but we also spent $7,877 on the door restoration. So that closing balance was $50,326. The revolving account, this used to see a lot more action back when we charged overdue fees. Now we only charge for books that are not brought back, or destroyed books. So we
Can I
collected
ask a
almost.
question about that?
Yeah,
The revolving account? Shouldn't you get rid of it as quickly as you can? So, because this is for replacement books or something, overdues from other libraries.
yeah, we do
bad-
still have to charge overdues for other libraries that charge overdue fines, but there's fewer and fewer of those as we shun them.
I know, but you have some money there, and can you use it for your book budget? I mean, use some of that, so we don't have to take it out of LIG, MEG, or other places when funny things happen.
Yeah.
Shouldn't I just don't like the idea of the $197.27 sitting around. I think it should be spent.
Okay, I'll spend it immediately.
Only on books, though, or on
Yeah, it can only be
audio
spent on
books, or yeah.
But what happens then with the fines that are collected? Where do they go?
They just go into
There.
this account.
But if you empty it out, Ellie, the account then is closed.
Well, we
No,
wouldn't spend it
you
down
can
to
leave-
zero. It would be really hard to spend it down to zero, but we don't have to carry as much of a balance.
Okay. So you're saying, Ellie, spend the 197.27.
or whatever what's the 244.04?
That's
Because
the
then you're
balance in the
closing
account
out
right now.
the account. Where do you
Well,
put
yeah,
those?
but you could do, whatever that gets it down to a much less amount of money.
Then I would say spend out the 197.27, but don't totally close out the account. Because
Well, we
Right,
can't
you don't
close
have
out the
to.
account without like town meeting action. But I mean, as long as we don't spend it down to zero, it exists.
that's what I'm saying. Don't
Yeah.
spend it down to zero.
I
Don't
won't.
empty it.
I won't spend it down to zero, but I'll spend it down as low as I can. One of the problems is our Baker and Taylor bills always come bundled. So our Baker and Taylor bills are usually like $500 to $800, and I seek out smaller bills that I can use for things like this. But I can do a split too. That's what I'll do. I'll do a split.
Okay. Right.
The RS Douglas account earned $178.80 in interest. I guess, along the same vein, $10,000 of this is non-expendable. Do y'all want me to start spending this down to $10,000 or close to it every year, or just continuing to let it accumulate?
It should be going, it should only be $10,000. The 2441.87 goes in. So that's the whole thing. That's with the 10,000. So you have 2,000.
Right.
So we
Is that
could
what you're
spend
saying?
$2,441.87 on children's books because this account
Right.
is specifically earmarked for children's books.
That
Yeah.
makes sense then, to keep it at what, 10,000? So you want it to be 10,000 for that balance
Well, it has to be.
around there. Right. That makes sense.
So that one, I'll just have to give Cheryl a heads up before I spend because the money has to be extracted from Bartholomew. The reason I haven't been touching this money is because the $10,000 earns interest, but as long as we don't spend what is earned, it also goes back into the pot and earns interest as well.
Well, here's a suggestion. Where interest rates right now are good, my suggestion is to leave things where they are and then check into this, whether it be every month or every couple of months. And if we get close to when we're looking at the end of the fiscal year, we don't want to be turning money back, obviously. So then do something with it. But in the meantime, that money's going to be earning interest. The money that, the 2024-41 on that
So
would
spend
earn
it
interest.
last.
Yeah, but this money is this is in our trust fund. It has nothing to do with our municipal budget. It will
Exactly.
not be turned back to the town. It stays with our with us. That's
So then
it.
my suggestion then is to even more so to keep it where it is
Until towards the end of the fiscal
until
year.
towards the end of the year and look at it and decide, do we want to spend it? Do we want to let it, that will roll on year to year, right?
Mhm.
Okay. My suggestion is to leave it.
Because it earned
So
us
that could have been
107.
used for your book budget that you somehow didn't, as long as it's for children's materials.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
The last one we have is the William and Janet Carrick Fund. We took in $1,146 from the grant this year. We spent $88.02 on Storywalk books and $1,320 on programming to bring that balance to $263,132. So if you add it all together, our income this year in trustee controlled accounts was $103,270.10, and expenses were $42,778.44. So right now there is $285,755 non-municipally appropriated money that this board has control of.
Oh,
That sounds good to me.
yeah.
And that's my finance report.
Very good.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the director's report.
So last meeting, y'all said y'all were interested in seeing the total circs of our materials from our collection, because those numbers are more exciting than what circulates to Douglas patrons exclusively. So I broke that down in these columns. So we've got June 2023, what we loaned to every body, no matter where they live, and also what was borrowed by our patrons. And, just to reiterate, this column is things that we loaned from our holdings. This column is things that were borrowed by our patrons, no matter where they came from. So some libraries out there are not putting circulation modifiers on their things.
Hmm.
Because I'm tracking it different, it doesn't look the same because these stats parse out by circulation modifiers and CWMRs. So audio is CD books, Blu-rays, books, DVDs. Equipment is how we classify our instruments and our mobile hotspots. Our laptops, we separate into a different kind of equipment. This isn't something that we loan outside of the house, so those numbers are going to be the same in both columns. Games can be, computer games, video games, music. I thought was interesting because our music archive didn't get a lot of use locally last year. This year it still only got 10 uses, but we searched 94 things out of it to other libraries. And then periodicals are magazines. So total evergreen circs is like physical stuff. So you can see what we lent, 2,907 things. Douglas patrons borrowed 2,475 things. And then below that, I have the digital stuff. So the Canopy streaming video, which seems to be withering on the vine, but it's cost per circ for us. So as long as, we don't pay a fee into this. We only pay if it gets used. And I'm hoping usage will start spiking again once we start doing some movie programming and things and letting people know, we've got this thing that's basically like a cable channel subsidized by your library, which is full of PBS Masterpiece Theater stuff. And then we've got digital books, audio books, and magazines here. The local magazines, or if you look in what we loan to other libraries, that number for magazines is always going to be 0 because they're supplied by the consortium. So the only number I really have access to is what Douglas patrons borrowed, and usage of the digital magazines in Libby does seem to be on the rise. And so on the bottom, you can see
why are those paid by the magazines? Why are they paid for by CW Mars?
Part of our network assessment that we pay annually is to go to digital materials, and they just decided to allocate some of that to digital magazines. I think because it's a good deal, because there as many people can use them as a time as they want, instead of it being like the books where you have to wait for a license to be available.
Okay.
So if you look at our local numbers, what Douglas patrons borrowed, our usage is still primarily physical. 2,475 things were borrowed and 1,573 digital things were borrowed. And if you look at the usage of our collections, only 2,907 of our things were borrowed, but 2,941 of our digital things were borrowed. So depending on whether you look at how Douglas people are using CW Mars or how we are serving CW Mars, like the story changes a little bit because our digital stuff is getting a lot of use outside of Douglas as well as inside Douglas.
And I'm going to say that I think that's partially due to your purchasing, Justin, of what is needed when patrons ask for something. You're pretty much there to provide it if you can, and I think that makes a difference.
If we can is the big thing. Right now, we've got over 600 holds that are not filled in Libby. And if we were to try to fill all of them, it would cost like $25,000.
Well,
but we do our best.
Yes, you do. I think we do. I think.
But given that local use is still primarily physical, my goal this year, I'll just show you real quick how I've broken down the circulation budget because I tried to spend it by week rather than by month to ensure that there's always a stream of stuff. I've allocated, $14,400 for overdrive cost per search. That gives us $600 a month for audiobooks and $600 a month for books. $1,600 on magazines, $2,450 on miscellaneous things, because we're about to see how well some books with integrated digital audio players serve. They're called Wonder Books, so that kids who have a hard time reading can open the book and it kind of reads to them. But I'm still allocating significantly more to physical circulation than to digital circulation. My goal is $752 a week in Libby and $849.50 a week on physical things, books, DVDs, all that stuff.
Okay. Sounds good.
And now this window won't close. There it goes. We had 120 Wi-Fi sessions. Our door count registered 1,203, and I had no data for last year because that's when everything was broken and before we bought the new system.
All right. Sounds good. Are we
And
good?
I don't know if y'all want me to go into the error statistics or not. I sent them out in an email a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think we're good on that, unless anyone has questions.
I have a question. Stop.
Mhm.
I'm go a little bit down, or total holdings of you have 23,242 print books, but you have 129,132 ebooks. Now, is that the whole CW Mars amount? Does everybody put in that amount, or is that you haven't purchased 129,000 132, whatever it is, ebooks?
No, I have not. CWMR supplies us with that number, so it takes what is available to our patrons. That's what the consortium has bought on top of what I've bought in Overdrive Advantage.
Okay, so that's not a real number
Yeah,
for
we get to
your
count it, though.
overall total holdings. Because otherwise, why don't they put everybody's print books in? Include every library in CW Mars's.
So you're saying it's
that-
not apples to apples compare.
No,
Right,
it's not apples to
exactly.
apples at all. Because we have not bought 129,132 ebooks. And if you count the cost per circ licenses that we've enabled, we would actually be closer to like 600,000 ebooks, but those don't count.
Okay. All right. Okay, other
But our
questions?
collections are growing.
And that's a good
Learning
thing.
platforms is what they've renamed electronic databases. Electronic database has gone out of fashion, and now it's called learning platforms.
What was it? What does that mean? I don't even know the old old one either. So what does network learning platforms mean?
The network learning platform is oh crap, it's Novelist. It's the tool that's integrated into the ILS, where if you're looking for another book to read, you can say, I like this author and I like this author. Tell me what I should read. And it suggests
Okay.
what you want. That's the one that this CW Mars provides. The local one that we provide is Creative Bug. That's what Creative Bug counts as, is a learning platform. And then the state learning platforms are like that suite of Gale databases, the New York Times, all that stuff you can access by clicking the research button on the homepage. And that's supplied by MLS.
And that's the New York Times is on there?
Yes, but it's a pain in the butt to use. It's terrible.
You mean I
Because
could
you
get
have
the
to know the
recipes from New York
name.
Times?
I don't know if it includes New York Times cooking or not, because they broke that off.
Yeah, and they want you to join for the recipes. Luckily, my daughter has it. I can grab it from her, but okay.
You know,
I
we
just
Ellie, no one's ever said you were self-serving. Just kidding. But I agree that would be great.
we canceled our New York Times subscription because I was using it to just click into lots of articles from the emails that they send me, and I was like, oh well, I can just use the library database to find these articles.
Okay, so just I have a New York Times online account. So will it be as easy for me to use the library account as my first as the one I pay for?
No, it's monstrous.
Oh,
I have no
but
control over this, but the
hopefully,
UDL.
Barbara, you only pay $50 a year. I keep on getting ads every day from
Oh,
New
me
York
too.
Times.
Yeah.
well, the
And
first it was like that the first year, but now I pay I think maybe $12 a month,
yeah, so
something like
that's
that.
yeah,
But I get the recipes all too,
right, exactly, just like my daughters.
Well, you
and
can
what and
share.
wire cutter and everything else, you know.
Yeah. Well, does the New York Times own the Boston Globe?
Not anymore. No,
But they
no,
did
that's
at
long
one
gone.
point.
That's long gone.
Yeah, because I keep on.
They did at one point, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was quite a few years ago. John Henry owns
Yeah.
the Boston Globes now. Boston Globe.
Yeah.
I did not know that. John Henry owns the Globe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Interesting. Holy moly. Whatever. Okay, moving on. I think these statistics are really helpful, Justin. I think it's good that we see that.
Yeah, I mean, like you've seen what you have to sign for Eris. It like jumbles it all on a page that's almost.
I know. I don't even,
I
I can't even
put it out
figure it
like
out. I
this.
just, print my name and sign it and say it must be good. Justin said it was good.
We did
Trust-
circa 111 things to out-of-state residents this year, which was
I
new.
thought I saw that. Must be
Were they
Connecticut.
just do Rhode Island and Connecticut,
Yeah.
or is it?
I'm going to say Connecticut or Rhode Island. Could be either.
I honestly don't know. I didn't track them down.
So
That's
is that where
interesting.
does Gail get something in the mail from them asking for it, or is it electronically requested through CW Mars? Or
Well, if a patron from out of state comes here to apply for a library card and has like a reason to be here, like say they work in Douglas or their kids go to school in Douglas, CWMR's policy is that we are supposed to register for them a library card, but we're supposed to charge them a fee for it.
Hmm.
I've never really felt good about that, so I've never charged a fee for someone applying for an out-of-state library card if they have a legitimate reason for being here and want a library card here.
Right.
So like we just have a few patrons, or sometimes patrons move out of state so that
That might be another thing. Yeah.
so that they're the system
I-
changes them from a Douglas patron to an out of state patron, but circulations count as out of state circulations.
I
And
had
they still
a
have a
friend that
Douglas card.
Yep.
I had a friend that she would come in the summer because she had a summer house here, but it wasn't her main uh,
Resident.
residence, and she had a hard time getting a card at the library. But I think she ended up, maybe I twisted your arm or something like that. But
As
but
a
she does
taxpayer,
pay
as a
taxes.
as a taxpayer, she should have had easy access, shouldn't she?
One would think so, but I don't know. Yeah, because part of your tax
Yeah.
money goes to the budget of the library. So
Yeah, we've never been very vigilant about this, I guess, because we don't really care. We just want people to read. But there are libraries out there that are really hard nosed about it. I won't name names, But certain fancy pants libraries, like will put alerts on people's records whenever they find out, that they're from out of state, saying we're not going to loan anything else to this patron until you can provide us proof documentation that they paid $60, because that's what we believe they should pay to be part of CW Mars.
All right.
It's like, okay, thanks.
But I think it's a trustee thing. I don't think it's CW Mars's place. It's up to the trustees to decide if fees are
Necessary.
need to be paid.
I think you're right, Ellie. Okay, can we move along?
What was the total circulation? You had too many. The total of your.
Total circulation transactions 56,098.
Okay, so that why are there two columns there? Was that the previous year?
Yeah, this one is last year.
Okay, I was reading it the wrong way. Okay, good.
And
Right.
programming, I didn't, we've kind of thought that programming, like people have been under the perception that programming hasn't been that successful here this year. It seems slower, but I mean, the numbers don't lie. It actually shot up quite a bit. Our total program attendance, increased from 1,500 to 2,100.
That's a good thing. Very good thing.
If you want me to briefly go over the rest of this stuff, Lisa and Marco are settling in as they continue to develop, figure out how, the ILS works and get familiar with helping patrons. I want to start breaking one of them off each evening to lead programs. We've registered 44 new patrons so far in July, and a great number of them have been on Mondays at 9 a.m. So opening up at that time slot was a winner. We usually average 5 or 6 new patrons a month, so 44 is a really good number.
Sweet.
Last month, I reported that we were going to meet with the public safety departments and the Blackstone Valley Community Partnership to, address some public safety programming. So sometime this fall, tentatively, I didn't put those dates in here, but probably one in October and one in November. We want to do a 2-session program series called Until Help Arrives, which will focus on, who to call in, disasters, how to use AEDs in public settings, hands-on CPR, Narcan administration, preparing home emergency disaster kits, and all that kind of stuff. And another upcoming program, Robert Rivest was here last week. He was a big hit, so he's going to come back the night before Halloween for an in-costume program about how to move in character. So the idea is to get a bunch of kids in their Halloween costumes, and he's going to sort of walk them through how to act out their costumes and move like their costumes instead of, just wearing them to collect candy.
Awesome.
And we're having a Stop Buying Bins presentation on September 14th for home organizers. Rebecca is in communication with a program that is designed to help local or people who are caregivers, caregivers of aging parents or, adult children with special needs. There used to be a whole lot of in-person workshops for these people, and COVID kind of blasted them out of the water. Now they're meeting virtually, but everyone kind of wants there to be a physical one again. So we're going to try to do it here. Lifesong volunteers weeded, mulched, and put landscape fabric down on our shrubbery beds for us this past Saturday. They didn't have enough mulch, so they're going to come back tomorrow at 5 o'clock to finish the job. And we have had one lit cigarette thrown in and caught it on fire already. But luckily,
Oh my God in heaven.
we bought a water hose and a nozzle so that we could water our planters and things out front. And in a few weeks, the person who maintains all the downtown, the
Right.
planters is going to be out. And we took on the task of keeping them alive while she's gone. And so I installed the water hose, installed the nozzle, made sure it worked, and like 2 hours later, the front of the lawn was on fire. So that was very serendipitous and lucky timing.
Good Christ.
I used our brand new replacement equipment budget for the first time to buy a laptop that we're going to use for video streaming for video streaming on the big screen downstairs.
Screaming.
And we just finished posting the publicity for the first one we're going to do today. So if you're interested on, I think, July 29th or 30th, I don't remember.
Yeah, we're going to be away. Otherwise, I'd come and watch it.
But there will be lemonade and cookies and PBS Masterpiece Theater playing in the library program room.
Sweet.
At the heat of the day, her goal she wanted to like have something for people to do in the air conditioning. It's low maintenance.
Right.
Doesn't require a whole lot of staff time to set this stuff up and let it go. She's actually scheduled a meeting parallel to this program and plans on doing both at the same time.
Sounds great.
Can I
All right.
ask a question? Yeah, was it last year that you were talking about 100 or 1,000 books before kindergarten? How's that all going?
It's going. We have a lot of people have registered for it. I don't know exactly how many. If Deb's materials over there, I can go find out. Give me 2 seconds. $14, $28. We've enrolled 39 people.
Wow,
In that.
that's impressive.
39?
39.
39.
Oh,
You know what would be nice for next meeting, Justin, is to get an update from Deb. Exactly, what's happening, any programming she's done with this books she's distributed, family feedback, anything, but some type of a report back from Deb on this for our next meeting. I think that's a good point that you brought up, Ellie. I've been thinking about that myself.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it, so yeah, I'm impressed. So.
Well, I asked Deb, this was back when it first started, and she was very excited about the number of people who had signed up. But that was quite a while ago, so I'd like to hear more about it.
Yeah, we've signed up 39. I know it's popular. People come in periodically to turn in their sheets that they've read, 100 new books. And then sometimes they get to pick a prize. Sometimes they get a gift certificate. Sometimes they get a free book.
Right.
We've had to restock the free books quite a few times. And I've done that with other supplies, other supplies line item.
Another point that I could bring up, I don't know if Deb has ever subscribed to the Scholastic Book Club, but she can do that as a preschool teacher and get all kinds of stuff. Families have well, I don't know if it works for libraries. Because, well, you can purchase books really cheaply, 99 cents a lot for certain paperbacks, little paperbacks that you give out. But I'm not sure if Deb has to ask Deb if she has checked into the Scholastic Book Club. She probably has. I'm sure she has. Anyhow.
I remember going nuts over Scholastic Book Club fairs whenever I was in high school.
I'd went crazy over them when I was a preschool teacher. Yeah,
So
I
I
love
got my
them.
collection of goosebumps.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's something to bring up. If it's in conflict with the library, I don't know.
It's worth
Because
looking
you're,
into.
yeah,
Because it would be if it would be a cheap way to get prizes. Because most
yes,
of the Scholastic books don't make good library materials because they make them in a specific way, which involves like a staples and a kind of film coated cover, and they deteriorate after too much use. But they would make good
yes,
prizes.
yes, they're great for prizes. That's what I was thinking. So anyhow, that's a thought. Bring it up to Deb. Or maybe I,
For you,
I can,
Deb.
okay. All right. So moving on. Moving on to old business. Accessibility next step.
I think Ellie might actually know more than I do. Because I talked to Matt. He said that Ellie was at the last BFCC meeting and heard his whole spiel. But he still wants to wait until the architecture firm is completed with the public safety project before he puts anything else on their plate.
Mm,
Um, but and then I poked him further and said, you know, like, should we be pursuing an alternate path because this is kind of dragging on? And he said that he still thought this would be our best, quickest, and most economical path forward. I don't know if
mm,
he said any more than that at BFCC.
Yeah, it's not the public safety place. Because I thought when back in February, I thought it was the highway barn that they were having the Sampson, Weston and Sampson to concentrate on. So then all of a sudden at this meeting, uh, Matt was talking about what
Right.
what is the piece that needs to happen um, for the fire station repairs to be or upgrades be accomplished. So when it came to me, I said, "Yeah, that's my question." You know, I was at the way end of the agenda, and this when he was talking about it was way at the beginning. So luckily, I had written down this little sentence that he said. So I said, "That's what we're looking for. When is the library going to happen?" And that's what I'm here for. And so I said, you were talking about the um, uh, fire station at when you said that sentence, and then I thought it was when the work on the highway barn was going to happen, and he said, no, it's the fire station. So I had heard probably, well, I don't know, I won't say anything, but then I said, so when he was talking about the fire station, they're using ARPA funds for the upgrading of the fire station. And they have to have a plan in place or something like that before or by December 31st. So I said, so is that when the architectural firm is going to be done with the fire department? Or is that just a plan and then the work starts? And he said, no, 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 it's going to happen in a week or so. That the Weston and Sampson is supposed to be ready with whatever they're planning for the fire station. So stuff should be happening. So my in turn response to that was, oh, good. I'll come to the next um, building and facilities construction committee meeting. And so then he said, oh, I better write this down so that he would have it ready. So anyway, it's not, and the public safety stuff has not come up at all, as far as I've heard, in the BFCC. So it's either the highway barn, which I think they're going to go for in the fall town meeting to try to get uh, uh, some money to go forth with that, and the ARPA funds for the fire department. So
Okay.
that's my report there.
All right, so we'll see what happens, but we're anxious to hear something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're nice enough to have us on the menu or the agenda menu.
Menu.
We're getting
Are
close
we
to
an
dinner, aren't we?
appetizer? Are we an appetizer or an aperitif?
I don't. I want to be dessert for this town.
Well, desserts come last.
But
Just to make
so
sure our head's in the same place, is this statement accurate?
but I think it's very important that we are showing an interest in the BFCC to by attending the meeting. So that's what I've committed myself to be doing.
Okay, and I would hope to be able to do that when I know ahead of time when it's happening.
Yeah. It's usually the third. Well, now it's switched from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's usually the third. It was last week, so was that the third Wednesday of the month?
Who
Was
you're
last
asking
week.
me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
It's July,
anybody.
right?
July, yeah. So it was last week, Wednesday last week. If that is the third Wednesday of the month, I think it is, and it would be at the third Wednesday of August, and it would be at 10 in the morning.
And that's BFCC.
BFCC, yes.
We would try to do that.
I guess that's kind of the adage, like out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. If you're not there, well,
Exactly.
So I don't mind, and I sort of enjoy listening to them anyway. So
At 10 o'clock. Okay.
Well, if in theory we do get to talk to Weston and Sampson around a week from now, is it fair to say that we like what we have? We wanted to make it accessible and updated, ideally with attic space included, but not if it's going to be ridiculously priced and address parking.
Yes.
Absolutely.
as long as it's not as fancy as we want sort of a basic thing. We don't want to take Van Voorhees's, or however you pronounce his name's, actual plan, and it's just putting it
Right.
at the
Ellie,
center of the back.
that's what we approved, and that's what we sent forward. So there's no further
So it is
discussion
not
on
the
it right now.
actual Van Horace's plans. It's
Right, but it's
just
it's done. What we've proposed, we're waiting to hear back from.
And I just thought I would include a picture of our parking lot. That wasn't even summer reading. That was a story time.
Yeah, it's full.
It's full. It's full pretty much every day.
That's great. It's a good thing.
The highway department filled in this big old hole back here for us. That's made a difference.
Can they do something about bottoming out, getting in and out of the driveway?
The only thing we can do, unless it's paved and some major engineering work is done on Main Street, is to keep throwing gravel behind the hump so that the hump coming down isn't as bad. But you
Right.
do that, and then a week later it needs to be done again.
I
because it
understand
all
that.
sort of
I know.
disperses.
I know. Anyhow, that's all.
But I have to get the shocks on my cars fixed way more often than I should, and I know that's part of it.
All right. So good to move on to basement renovations.
The next step to the grand scheme will be to move Deb into her new digs in what was the old storage room and turn it into a children's office. We'll need to install some electrical outlets, which Jeff Grenier can do for us. But I don't know precisely where they need to be yet, and we won't until we start trying to move all of her stuff into there and figuring out how to organize it and how the flow is going to work. And I don't really want to put Deb through that until after summer reading is over,
Mm-hmm.
because there's enough upheaval going on here right now. So that's kind of on hold for the moment. And then once the central room is cleared out, I'd like to look to turning that into a space for people to use either our computers or their own. A lot of people are bringing in their computers to work. We usually have somebody in the teen loft and someone in the media room, and then we have to put a sign out saying that this room's going to be unavailable at 6:30 because of book club. So those people kind of need a space.
Yeah.
And it'll be right down there next to the basement printer too, so it'll get them off of our printer. But this is kind of just like seeing how far our maintenance and repair budget is going to get us. Brian LaValle just finished with the he's gotten all of the electric or all of the old plumbing and radiators out that were attached to the old heating system. Today he was cleaning up the walls in the program room, and he's going to be back on Thursday morning to install some trim around the base where the baseboard used to be. And then that'll be done, and we can get a final invoice on that. And then I want to take a break, step back, take stock, and see where we are and how much we still have to work with.
Right.
Good.
That sounds good. So when is summer reading done?
Mid-August, I think.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, probably looking towards the end of August for those changes to happen.
The outdoor brickwork is something that I'm hoping to put on our capital plan for next year, so we won't really need quotes until spring.
Have we decided to do this? I thought I know I asked questions about it because I just don't get the outdoor brickwork. What is it more than pointing and bricks, repointing bricks, or is it you had talked about slathering it with some sort of
It's repointing the bricks, fixing the mortar between the bricks.
isn't that
Resealing.
repointing?
Well,
Mm,
repointing is whenever you like. I don't know. I know like that. There's bricks that need replaced, and there's mortar that needs replaced. If there's places where if you like go outside and kick the wall, dust is going to fall off and chips of bricks. That stuff needs addressed, or else we're going to end up with water seeping in. And then to keep the bricks from degenerating like that again, they want to seal it with some kind of water penetrative water seal.
right.
And they said once this
But
is done, if we apply the
Like what you
penetrative water
would put
seal
down
every
on
10
a
years,
floor, a tile floor.
I don't know. See, I've never heard of that 10 every 10 years doing it. And that's where my question came in. And I thought we were going to get some sort of resolution to it. And then it turned into getting a quote from Bill, whatever it is, Max, for the whole thing. But I don't think we've decided that that's well, I haven't anyway. I don't have enough information
I don't,
about the whole process. So
well,
well, that
Ellie,
will come with a quote in the proposal.
right. And Ellie, you're right. We haven't voted on anything, but it's things that need to be done. So it costs us nothing to have someone come in with a quote telling us what we need and what it would cost. And then at that time, then we can raise our questions and vote. But I think we're set for now as far as, I don't think we need to do anything now. We're not voting on anything. We haven't approved anything.
We're
Yeah,
just
because
waiting
I have
for,
no idea, what it will cost, what it'll entail, and won't know until they
Exactly.
come
Right.
inspect and give us a proposal.
Right.
But
So
there's
are
no
you,
rush on the proposal because it's not something that I would want us to pay for anyway. It's something I would want to put on the capital plan for the town.
okay,
but then again, we might be asking capital for the ADA renovations, which are prime in my head ahead of anything like this. So,
That goes into the capital plan too.
I mean, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but there's a chance of putting it all together. But that's for looking down the road. Well, not in July, but um so
Oh my.
so Justin, you're looking at getting quotes in the spring for a capital plan.
Yeah, you're getting a quote, getting a proposal, bringing it to a trustee meeting, and
Right,
then
and there's a
hopefully
possibility
I
of
would hope to put it on the
putting
capital.
it all together. I don't know. Yeah, but whatever. We're
But we
jumping
don't
it.
have to put everything together because, like,
I know,
most
we're jumping
departments
ahead of
have
ourselves.
lots of different things in the capital pipeline, and then that kind of gives the capital committee, an idea of what's coming up.
Right. All right. So can we move on to math save?
So I sent the proposal and the quote that they sent via email. Last meeting, Lee poked me to poke them, so I did. And they said that this is what they could do for us: is replace all of our U-type fixtures with new LED panels and retrofit fixtures, with better LEDs. The cost would be $6,447 with the rebate of $1,800. So the final cost would be $4,647.79. The estimated payback would be $727.57 a year in savings, which would pay it off in 6.39 years. But the more exciting thing to us is that it would upgrade our lighting significantly, because especially in the basement, the lights we have are very dim. And they would be upgrading those to lights, which would bring, our facilities up to kind of standard office lighting levels, which they said were about like half to three-fourths at.
Okay.
and this would be paid for using your repair stuff that
Yeah,
you
repairs and maintenance budget could definitely eat this.
yeah.
Um, I know it's beyond your scope, but Justin, you do so much in your job. Would it be feasible? I know Mass Save is good. They are. Just to get a second quote on doing that, what would happen with that?
I could ask Jeff Grenier to give us a quote and then see if his quote comes under what their quote with the rebate is.
Right. And then report back if you can next month. It's good to move forward with this.
It's my understanding that Mass Save gives you the lowest the lowest possible price that it would cost for what they saw.
Is Jeff Grenier a single person? I mean, like,
Yep.
I'm not looking for marriage or anything like that. But
Is he
He's the sole
available?
proprietor.
How does
no,
he look?
not
Is he
that.
cute?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he is just by himself, then we don't have to pay him the prevailing wage amount. We just pay what he quotes. Is what Mass Save quoting, is that for a bigger, a two-person um, uh, company that would have to be paid prevailing wage. And so is this a prevailing wage quote that Mass Save has given, or is this for a single person like a Jeff?
Right.
If
And
he
what
is
they can, let's put it this way, Ellie. Is it mass
I
save
think,
versus prevailing wage? Is it, or is it the same thing? I
or yeah,
understand.
well, just I think the idea of getting a quote from Jeff is good, because I think as
I'd
long
like to see
as,
that. Yes, before
yeah,
I make a
so,
decision.
Yeah, I can fire him this quote and proposal and then ask him if a everything is really necessary and
Exactly.
if he can do it for cheaper and maybe, by integrating this together because we also need lighting upgrades in the archive really, really bad. And if he did that at the same time for a
Mm.
final cost that would
Well,
be
you're
similar or
Justin.
lower than.
You are more aware of the needs of the building. So what you just said makes sense. To get a quote from Jeff, and there's other things that need to be done electrically. So, uh, yes,
I'll do that.
let's table this. I don't think there's a vote, but let's bring that up again next meeting and then get updates on what it would cost. Another idea of what the cost would be from Jeff, maybe. That would be the way to go, I think.
Sounds good.
All right. Sweet. All right. Under other,
I think we already talked about that.
yes, we did.
Brian is fixing up the radiator holes.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to grants, capital campaign. I
That's
think we
where we
went through
are.
all that. We're good, right?
Yep.
All right. LRP updates.
A big part of my long range plan or the action plan for this year was delegating things. And, as soon as Marco came on board, I started throwing things at him. So, lost item procedures are his wheelhouse now, computer updates are his wheelhouse now. I've delegated all print purchasing except young adult and indie publications to different people on staff. Rebecca is taking over most publicity and calendar maintenance. So this will hopefully free up my time to do more directory things like hound Matt about building.
Sweet.
I don't understand. Someone accomplished is ordering print material for adults. Wouldn't that be somebody who has a lot of experience in ordering books?
Gail
How do
is
they?
ordering fiction and Rebecca is ordering nonfiction for adults.
So the new hire is ordering adult fiction?
No, Gail is.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you gave everything except young adult to Marco.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no. So Gail is doing adult fiction, Rebecca's doing adult nonfiction, Deb is doing children's, and I'm doing young adult and indie publications because it's hard to buy those. You can't buy them in Baker and Taylor. You have to hunt them down on Amazon.
So the new person is not ordering anything?
No, he's updating computers and working on procuring like asset retention, making sure that people get their bills and phone calls and email reminders to bring back their library books.
Okay, I must have read it wrong then. My other concern is I'm hoping you don't get too isolated doing all this planning, but sometimes show up at the front desk and keep an eye on who's coming in and out and chit-chatting with the patrons a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it's
still
important that they see you.
right here.
I don't mean see you in the distance. I mean see you face to face occasionally.
They will.
Really important.
I agree. That's why I haven't moved upstairs.
Oh. Okay.
Speaking to, it's also not just seeing, but speaking.
Yeah, Gail says I talk to
Interaction
patrons
with the
too much
director.
because New Englanders want to be left alone.
That's
If
true.
we want to get a lot of
Okay.
votes, I really think they need to have chatted with the director occasionally.
I agree with
I do
that.
talk to the patrons a lot. And I'm out
Every
in the
time,
stacks a lot.
every time I've been in the library, Justin has been right there. I'm not sure what the concern is. Justin has always been there, meeting people, taking care of people on the desk, doing whatever needs to be done. I'm not sure what the issue is.
The issue, I think, is that the previous director didn't do that. And so Justin is doing it. I think we've drilled it into it enough that, interact with the public. But,
Well, it's
we
just
have
my
had that.
nature too. I mean, like if I wasn't interested in interacting with the public, I wouldn't be a public librarian.
There you go. You got it. Okay. I
I
think
don't
we're,
know how the previous director kept her job here as long as she did, to be honest.
we won't go there. We won't. All right. So let's move on to friends. I hear something about a matching grant.
Well, it's actually we're starting. We just started. We had our first meeting for the 2024 auction that we'll be having in October 9th through the 23rd, and we were hoping. Or last year we had the knife donation, which brought in like $5,000 in to our till for the whole uh, auction take. And this year, I don't think we have that. We did get a donation from Rebecca actually for some tickets to the Revolution soccer teams games that are being held at Gillette Stadium, and that's exciting. That she and her husband are donating this because their schedule doesn't, because they have a young child now, that it doesn't, the timing for at 7 o'clock at night, it doesn't work for them anymore. So she's donating these things. And I guess Justin is going to use the raffle permit that we had gotten last year for the knife raffle. He still can use that permit, and he'll use it to sell the Revolution tickets. Then we had gotten, as I said, the $5,000 for the knife, and so what I was hoping to do, and I know last month I withdrew it all, but was to get like $10,000 from LIG. But when we talked about it at the auction, I said I'll ask the trustees if they would be willing to commit $5,000 of LIG, MEG to serve as a matching uh, amount for anybody that gives the auction a, a, a donation. For instance, GBI has the last ever since we've had the auction has given $1,000. So if when they give $1,000, if they want to, we could say, oh, well, this is going to be matched with $1,000 that the trustees are using some of their grant money for, so then we get $2,000 for it. So it would be a tempting thing for anybody, if you could say, gee, maybe you'd like to give $5,000 and we would match up to 5,000. If it got more than 5,000, that's not what I'm asking us as trustees to donate from LIG MEG, but it's just up to $5,000 worth of matching cash gifts.
So if I, as an individual, want to say I'll donate $500, it would be matched.
Yeah, as long as we haven't run out of. If somebody wants to give us $5,000 and we have to, and we use that $5,000, then it wouldn't be matched. But at least that would,
So
would
up
be
to
an
up to
incentive.
5,000.
Up to 5,000. So we wouldn't be wiping out the LIG, MEG grant funds. We just want to use up to $5,000 for this incentive for people to donate or businesses to donate. So I'd like to make a motion that we that the trustees, or that Ellie moves that the trustees agree. You're typing this as we go along. Agree to match up to $5,000, or well, it's right there, to match up to $5,000. So you've already got it right above there.
Yeah, I just want to write out the motion so that you don't have to rewrite
Okay.
it when you're doing minutes.
Oh, so that then I can just copy it. Up to $5,000 in cash donation, a total of up to a total of $5,000.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes sense to write this first because I think I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I should have done something like that, but yeah, but I didn't.
Word a little bit differently to match,
because it took a while for the friends to understand what I was saying. So up to $5,000 by.
How's that?
All right. Do I hear a second?
So did you see, he says, the motion is that the trustees agree to match.
Right. So I need a second.
All.
I just did.
Okay.
All right. So let's open it up to discussion.
Okay, I'm in. I think it might be a good idea to ask GBI to be a matching donor or somebody like that, but I don't think it's good practice to mix library. I don't even think we have the authority to mix library funding from the state with a local friends group. That's monetary mixing up that's way too much for me.
I think
but so it would go towards the capital campaign.
But I think
it's coming from state money. I can't see allowing the friends to use that for anything. It sounds like we've.
No, it wouldn't. It says the motion, you can't see it. It says reserving money.
Yeah, I know what it says, but They're using it as an incentive. I don't like that.
I understand what Betty's saying, and I tend to agree with her. I'm also wondering, so we're just sucking more money out of our budget then.
Right.
No.
It's not earning
Yes,
us more
if
money
somebody
unless
comes
the
up with $5,000, Ellie, we're going to come up
But
with $5,000 from our budget.
it's not from our budget, it's from the LIGMEG.
It's our
Our
budget. That's the
municipal
budget
budget
that
is
we
not
operate
taking
on.
anything from the municipal budget. It's
well, we might
taking it
rather
from
use it for light bulbs.
LIGMEG. And Justin, how much have we reserved already for the capital campaign? It doesn't go.
Lot.
Oh, wait. No,
Um,
sorry.
So we're going to
It's a
match
tire.
with the,
Too far. We have currently reserved $22,000 from grants.
Listen, if I were the state auditor, I would not allow any mixing up of state-given LIG money for the friends to use as an incentive.
well, okay, then let's go back to, Ellie, you just made a thing about using the money from the building donations. Would we use that?
Oh, we can't do that. It's not a building donation.
I agree.
You can't take
Well,
it out of the building fund.
I hear you. I'm asking questions. So,
what are you saying, that the 22,000 we've already reserved for the building fund, we can't do? We've already voted on that
oh no, not at all.
several years ago, and we can't do it? Is that what you're
We
saying
can't
now?
take it from that money. That's already reserved.
Ellie, do you
No,
understand?
no, that's true. That's already reserved. I'm asking, and that was from LIGMEG grant money. I'm
Right.
just asking that we reserve $5,000 more for the building fund, and that you will allow, but apparently well, I don't know. We haven't voted on it, but I see no reason why not.
It sounds like money coming into our pocket, into our left pocket, and going right out our right pocket. We're going to
How?
get $5,000, but we have to match it with $5,000. I don't.
Yeah, it's we're not going to lose money. The thing is, LIGMEG. That's not. It has uses, and one of the uses isn't an incentive for a friends group. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's an accepted use of it.
I think someone mentioned that maybe you get a third party to do the matching grant, and I think that's
Right,
often
that would be
how it's done.
Yeah.
When I hear
That would be awesome.
a
That's
PBS
great.
or an NPR matching, it's usually somebody you don't know, but it's a third party.
Okay.
GBI.
I was
Yeah,
just going to
so-
say,
Yeah.
what
so we get
if instead of GBI automatically giving us $1,000, what if you went to them and said, we have the opportunity for a matching grant?
Yeah.
So
Would you be the provider of the matching grant?
right.
And you'll
right.
get a lot of publicity for it because we'll
Exactly.
mention your name.
Yes.
Well, who's matching the grant?
They
Oh,
are.
GBI.
Matching what grant? We haven't voted on it,
No,
and it sounds
no,
like
no.
none of you are in favor
We-
of it. So
No,
it's down to
this is under the discussion. It's a totally different motion.
Right.
That someone would ask GBI, would you like the opportunity to provide a matching grant? And we will mention your name that you're doing it when we say that you're doing it. It'd be a nice incentive. If I want to give 1,000, I know GBI is going to give another 1,000.
Exactly. Yes. I like that idea.
I do. I absolutely do. And not just GBI, but
Well,
There's
whoever,
other-
I don't know who.
there's
What
other,
about the-
besides them, there's
But
other
it's
very successful businesses in town.
What about the cubes?
I agree.
Yeah,
What about that other big new thing that's going up there?
Absolutely.
5,000 is kind of a pittance to those people.
So, would one of you like to approach one of these groups and to find this matching grant that I can't get from LIGMEG?
Uh,
Well, it's the Friends auction, so they're the ones that have to ask for it. The trustees are not asking for the grant, the Friends
A
are.
lot of the trustees are members of the Friends too. You could.
I want to get back to what we're voting on accepting the matching donation. We didn't say from whom. We just had a matching donation.
It says it in the motion.
Right.
No, we're voting on whether LIG should match it or not.
Right.
Um,
what if we
Uh,
asked LIG if that is allowed? If they have any problem with using the LIG money as a match?
I don't like that idea.
No? Okay.
I don't want to get LIG involved in our minor financial business.
I have to
Yeah.
agree, Betty.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know.
It does strike me
I
as
think
a
where we
little,
are is that finding someone to do a matching grant is a really great idea. It's just that the LIG funds are the wrong one. It's not the right one.
I agree.
So can we just vote that we don't, there's a motion and we say no, and then we'll discuss other options?
Yes,
All right.
we have time.
Because it's a good idea, basically.
It is, but I think we're a little shady on where the other half of the money would
Right.
come from.
And just moving it from one pocket to the other doesn't really,
That's what I'm saying,
that's
Barbara.
not incremental
Exactly.
money. We want
I'm saying you
incremental
put
money.
it in your left pocket and you're taking it out of
Right.
your right pocket.
So we want additional money, and that would come from a third party.
Right. So, is there any other discussion? All right, let's take a vote. All those in favor that the trustees agree to match the fall online auction cash donations up to $5,000 by reserving money in LIG MEG account and allowing it toward allocating it toward the capital campaign. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No.
No,
No,
All right. The nays have it.
Okay, what was the vote, please? The vote was one yes, and did everybody vote or three people said no?
I said
And some
no.
people, did anybody say I abstain?
All right, I said no.
no,
No.
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 1, 4, 5. Okay. 5
Okay.
and 1 makes 6. And Dana's not here. I didn't write it.
Dana and
And
Dawn.
Dawn's not here. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Danielle. You came in late there. All right, 5. All right, 5 no's and 1 yes. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to other old business. Hearing
Well, I thought you were
none.
going to discuss something else. what did you say, Barbara? For
Yeah, yes.
Who to approach for matches?
Yeah, but some ideas for companies or organizations that could match.
Yes.
Like, and so what GBI was mentioned, the Cubes at Gilboa was mentioned.
Yeah.
Resonate is the grow facility.
The who?
what did you say?
Oh, the cannabis place.
The big
What's the
cannabis
name
grow
of it?
facility. Resonate.
Oh, is that what?
Mhm.
Okay. There's
Resonate. Is that the one by Schuster's Mill?
Yeah, it's over a classic envelope.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And the owner, Pete DeCaro, was interested in helping us, but that was pre-COVID and a long time ago. And since changes,
All right. The name of them is Resonate.
Down. Yep, Resinate.
RES. Say that again. IN or AN?
I will try to get in touch with them.
Resinate.
Okay. RES. Next
INATE.
I know. I keep on talking, and then somebody says all the letters, and then I don't hear them anymore. So, somebody say all the letters in that name, please, right now.
RESINATE.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So somebody's going to Danielle. You said you were going to contact them.
I'll try to.
All right. So ask them if they'll give $10 million.
All right.
I was just trying to get money, and we need to know fairly quickly because we're promoting all of this now, and people. Paul Peterson is the one that usually goes to DBI and other places like that. So we were hoping we would get the money by today, but obviously we didn't. And so could you be in contact with them tomorrow or something, Danielle?
I can try. Yep. I will try.
And does somebody know anybody at the Cubes at Gilboa?
I don't.
Nope.
You don't know, Justin, do you know who the Cubes at Gilboa is?
I have no idea. I could poke into it.
All right.
And the third one was GBI.
Yes.
Who normally approaches GBI for the regular grant donation that they
Paul
make?
Peterson does, but he just the easiest way for him is to say, well, you gave $1,000 last year. Would you like to give $1,000 this year? And then they'll say yes.
Mhm.
But he doesn't say, would you like to give 2,000 this year or something like that. But
maybe somebody should make an appointment.
and I don't know if he feels comfortable about asking GBI, would you provide a matching, be a third party to matching up to 5,000 or up to whatever.
Yeah, some other number.
So would somebody be willing to go to GBI with Paul to broach this thing? I'm stretched pretty wide or taut right now, so I don't think I'd be the best person.
What can you talk about it with Paul and see what he thinks might be a good way to approach it?
I'm trying to get you guys involved in all of this.
I
don't
know,
know
I
if you
get it. I get
understand
it.
this.
But
I'm
It's a
hoping to hear
big
from
job.
other
We're
members of the
raising a lot of
board.
money for the building fund, and
Absolutely. I hear
Yeah.
you, Ellie.
and it's disheartening when I appreciate Danielle, volunteering for the Resonate place. And it's just, I'm asking the trustees to please step out and help us with this. It's important.
And so it would be contacting GBI
No,
about,
I've talked to Paul.
With Paul.
all
Would you be
right.
willing to do that, Barbara?
Sure.
Was that a sure?
Give me his contact information.
Okay.
Paul's.
I'll give it to you when I don't have it on me right now, but I'll email you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what's her name?
What's whose name?
GBI. The wife there is very good friends with Jen Casey. That's who it is. All right.
What? What's the name?
Let me just. I'm not sure. Let me try. I'll do what I can with Resonate. GBI, I have a third party connection with someone there. I can look into it. I can try. I'll try with him. I'm going away in a couple days, so I'll do this while I can. I'll do the best I can. It's really like
So
Ellie says, we need other people to step up.
I think that this
Let's hear the chirping crickets now.
I do not have the ability to do any of that stuff right now. I'm super busy, but I always throw cash in. Probably not enough
it
to
could
do a
be
matching
matched
grant,
if
but
we could find a matcher.
yep.
but
I don't have. I can't afford 5,000.
No, just people to contact. Whatever. Anyhow. Okay. We're good. Nobody else
Okay.
is right. Okay. Let's move on to new business. Justin, you good?
That was intense. So let's talk about some swank.
Yeah. And let's see how intense this is.
So like Hillary?
Yeah.
So it used to be called Movie Licensing USA, but it was bought by a family and they changed the name to Swank. In the past, we had tried to do some movie showing programs in the library, and we paid for an MPLC license a few years in a row, but it was stupid because you could show a film or a TV series that you had the license to show, but you couldn't use the name of it in any of the publicity. I noticed recently that Dudley has just been posting all over the place as like, we're showing Kung Fu Panda 4 at the library on Friday night. So I asked them how they were doing that, and this is how they're doing that. They're doing it through a Swank license, and I would like to get one.
And
Okay.
how are you going to pay for it?
I would like to pay for this out of grants because I don't want to overstretch our other services and other supplies and budgets and things like this early in the fiscal year, especially since I'm trying to hold to numbers this year.
Do we need to vote?
Yeah. I move that we do this for $500 using the Carrick funds, from the Carrick fund.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Who
Hearing none?
seconded again?
I'm sorry?
Who seconded again?
Barbara?
Oh, I just say it was moved, seconded, and passed, or passed unanimously, if that's the case. I never put who does anything down, so.
All right. So we're good. There you go. So next meeting is August 27th at 5 p.m.
Alrighty.
I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
yes.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. As Joe
Aye.
used to say, it's a standing motion. Standing
And that
vote.
is at 6:47. Okay.